Paul, and we've all been through this enough to know we have to wait a few years to
Yeah.
kind of know exactly how good this draft is going to be. And I'll say you from the Chicago standpoint, there were people that were fiending for Ashton Gentry. I wasn't one of them, and that's
Mhm.
as far as moving up. If and I don't think any of us thought he was going to fall to 10. If he had fallen to 10 and the Bears selected him, I think that would have been I would have been fine with it. Also, I was a big Ty Warren guy. I was not a
Mhm.
Colston Loveland guy. And of course, I come on here and Penn State. I know
Yeah.
Garrett, you're there.
Yeah.
Penn State's been kicking my what all year. So you know why I was a Ty Warren guy. But I understood I watched Colston Loveland enough to know how good he is. So it wasn't like they got someone that was on a whole different tier than Ty Warren. And when you look at the fit, it doesn't bother you. I've wanted Ben Johnson to be the Bears head coach for 2 seasons now. I can't want someone who seems like one of the better offensive minds within the NFL to come in now. What we all know has control. He's higher. He's well paid and paid more than the general manager. General manager was on the hot seat. I'm sure if push came to shove and if the general manager had to be tossed to get Ben Johnson here, that probably would have taken place. So I'm sure Ben Johnson is really throwing the hammer down and he wanted Colston Loveland. You look at the Sam LaPorta comp, you
Mhm.
understand why. Luther Burden falling to the Bears. And let's also not act like there's not some knocks on
Mhm.
Luther Burden when it
Yeah.
comes to route running, dedication to the route when he's not involved in it. Growing up, we know that's always been something about how DBs and defensive players have said, well, you kind of can know what's going on by how the guy gets off the line. And that has
Mhm.
to be something that has to improve here. But the Bears luckily have a Chicagoan or Chicagoland player and former Steeler in Antoine Randall L here as their wide receivers coach. So we'll see how that takes place. It definitely was a good draft. There were some players that the Bears didn't get, or positions, I should say. I think everyone would have liked to see the Bears get a defensive end. But a lot of the times it seemed like if you look at like Trayvon Henderson as far as running backs, I'll get to end, and it's the same thing. It seems like when the Bears were going to get that player, and that player was selected, they moved down because they didn't have another player comparable to that player. And I think that's what happened with them at defensive end. They did improve the defensive line with Shamar Turner from Texas A&M, and you guys can probably give me more
Oh,
information about him down at Texas A&M.